we are in 2025, and there's going to be a lot of new movies coming out. Some of those are MCU, some of those are just different movies, some sequels, some originals, and we are going to do a tier list of how much I think they're going to make at the box office. Starting out, right, next, I'm just going to do the Jurassic Park Rebirth, Jurassic World Rebirth, whatever you want to call it, and I think this is going to be I think this has the potential to be the Alien Romulus of Jurassic World movies. Because, I mean, Dominion was a complete blunder. They ended out that franchise of, like, the Jurassic World films. They ended that out horrendously. So I think Jurassic World Rebirth is going to be a new chance to really rebirth the hype in the franchise. That was horrible. But honestly, I think Dominion and just a whole bunch of different things really hurt the franchise. Like Jurassic World Dominion really hurt the franchise. Honestly, I'm gonna go 200 million plus, maybe 300 million plus actually. Simply because, I mean, it just hasn't had a great reputation recently, so yeah. The new Avatar movie, Fire and Ash. These movies just naturally make a whole lot of money. Because, you know, it's James Cameron. Everybody knows James Cameron for one movie or another, whether it be the Aliens, Titanic. People know this director, people know these movies, and people know what they're going to get out of them. A big CGI spectacle, and honestly, not much more other than that. So I'm going to go in the 500 million plus range, just based off of what they've made in the past. Speaking of what they've made in the past, we are actually going to go see what the other ones have made, just for comparison. Yeah, so for example, like the first Avatar made almost 3 billion. Almost 3 billion, that's a ton. Then 2022, 2 billion. But I don't think there's the same level of hype. But who knows, there might be. So, I mean, that makes me want to go between the 500 million plus to 750 million plus. But, I mean, it probably will reach the billion, so I'm just going to do it right there to be safe. But honestly, there's something real deep down that doesn't make me think it's going to reach $1 billion or over. But hey, the other ones have made about the same, so honestly, I should put in the $1 billion club. I just don't want to. Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the last Mission Impossible film. You know, Tom Cruise is aging, even though it doesn't seem like it with all the crazy stunts he's been doing. So, yeah, it's also coming on my birthday, so I'm pretty hyped for it. Okay, so the box office performance for Dead Reckoning Part 1, or just Dead Reckoning, they renamed it like 3 times. But whatever it's going to be, whatever it's going to end up doing, I mean, this last one made like 600, 700 million. So I think this one has the potential to make around like $750 million plus, maybe $500 million plus, because the last one made like 625, somewhere in that range. So I definitely think it's going to go over 500 million, but honestly, there's something that just doesn't make me think it's going to go over 750 million. Like, the last one lost money, even though it almost made 700 million, simply because COVID and all the pushbacks they had, like all the delays in production, just really pushed it back. Okay, The Ballerina, the John Wick spin-off. So now I'm just going to, what the heck? So I'm just going to check something real quick. John Wick. Because I know I'm not 100% sure, but that's what we're going to check right now. See here. Yeah, so see, they've made a good chunk of money, and by the time, like, the one came on in 2023, 440 million. That's a huge growth from the first one to the fourth one. So, I mean, I definitely think that it will make money, but since it's a spin-off, I think it's going to be featured very heavily in the marketing that it is a John Wick spin-off. It's from the world of John Wick. John Wick's going to be in it very prominently, but he's not going to be the main character. So it makes me a little bit cautious. I'm probably leaning more in like the 300 to 500 million plus range. probably 300 million plus, though. Just because it's a John Wick spin-off. It's not John Wick, so a lot of people are kind of gonna be like, kind of be like, I don't know. Okay, this movie, aka generic animated film that there's no hype for. I'm gonna go into the under 200 million range, just with its reputation over the past years. Oh my god, so many pop-up ads. Okay, I'm just gonna go with that option simply because, just with the track record over the past couple of years, it's been very disappointing. And honestly, I'm not going to expect a whole lot from it. Captain America Brave New World, coming out in February 14th, something like that. Okay, so, based off of the last Captain America projects, I think it's going to do pretty well. Because we can't really tell based off of the last projects. Even the tier list, I got a video. See, I watched the video, and I got the tier list from there. Sean Chandler talks about it from there, this tier list. And I kind of agree with what he said. You cannot really tell what this movie's going to make based off of what the other ones have made in the past. Because you have, like, the freaking Marvels, under 200 million, bombed really hard. And then you had Deadpool and Wolverine, which ended up breaking several box office records, becoming the highest earning R-rated movie of all time, and the first R-rated movie in the MCU. So, I mean, you cannot really tell based off of all those things. But the last Captain America project was Winter Soldier. And a lot of people didn't watch that. And the people that did were not a huge fan of it. I actually liked it pretty well. But I'm just saying, based off of all that, I don't think it's going to make 750 million. But who knows? It very possibly could make over 750 million. I could be surprised. Don't think it's going to make $1 billion. You know, a new Captain America movie. It's been a while since we've had one. Oh, that's going to be cool. Red Hulk, Harrison Ford playing the president again for the first time since Air Force One. Just a whole bunch of different things combining. Like, honestly, like what Sean Chandler said in his video, probably less than 750 million. Okay, so the Fantastic Four movie. Okay, so this is going to be the last MCU movie coming out in 2025, and I'm pretty hyped for it. I think it's going to have a lot of importance in the MCU, and honestly, I'm really hoping it makes it into the $1 billion club, but I definitely think it's going to earn more than Captain America. I definitely think it's going to make more than Captain America, simply because we have not gotten a Fantastic Four movie in a while. And even people who aren't big fans of the MCU, I'm sorry for that voice crack earlier, but people who are not big fans of the MCU are even talking about, hey, the guy from The Last of Us is in a new MCU project. We're getting a new Fantastic Four. Just people who I would not hear regularly talking about the MCU, I think has a lot of potential, through word of mouth, for the importance in the MCU, and just depending on what news we get about it. Like, who knows? Like, if we get a trailer for the Fantastic Four in the Super Bowl, I think that's definitely going to push it up a little bit. But, hey, who knows? Okay, I'm just going to go over to the new Superman movie, since I just want to get this one out of the way. It's going to make but if it does not make a ton of money, the DCU is in a lot of trouble. If this movie flops, it's done for. Not done for, but it's going to be in a lot of jeopardy. And there has not been good faith with DC projects over the years, or the recent years. Like, you had the newest Aquaman movie, you had The Flash, which I actually really like The Flash. But, I mean, I don't think it's going to... This is really hard to date, because... It's really hard to put up here, because just based off of how the other movies have performed, like, in the DC universe, like, everybody loves Superman. But not everybody loves the way DC has been doing recently. And a lot of people who aren't really in the know with these things might not know that they're rebooting the franchise. They might just be thinking, oh, the same DCEU? Get that out of here. But hey, who knows? Maybe you'll be able to win some people over through word of mouth. But I'm aiming for the 750 million plus range, just because it really needs that. And honestly, that's probably where it's going to end up landing. I don't think it's going to end up in the $1 billion club. But hey, there is a lot of potential. It's just that DC's track record recently has not been doing very well. Okay, so the newest what will be the newest F1 movie. I heard this movie had an insane budget, but these kind of like sports movies where they add a little bit more to it through their plot, and hopefully that's what it ends up being. But honestly, I think it's gonna end up in the $300 million plus club between here and here. Just because, who knows, regular people might go watch it just on a movie night and be like, oh, that was really good. And just end up enjoying the plot, the F1 racing, and, I don't know, I'm just gonna put it right there. Okay, again, skipping around a little bit, Snow White. I mean, there has been a lot of horrible word of mouth with this movie. And I put a lot of emphasis on the word horrible because just a lot of things, like with the lead actress, with, just a lot of the different things, with, like, what people have been saying about it. Just not very good word of mouth, mixed with an actor that likes to say a lot of things, in defense of their movie. But here's the thing. A lot of it looks good, but there's not a whole lot of an audience for this movie anymore. Because, number one, you have the people who already fell off the live-action remake train. You have the people who already jumped off of that. Plus that, the movies that they were making live-action remakes of were 80s and 90s projects built up with nostalgia. 80s and 90s nostalgia. Like, the Princess and the Beast movie, which I know very well based off of how excited my mom was for the film. But this movie does not have that same kind of nostalgia as it was made way before those movies were. And it's just not going to have the same nostalgic feel for a lot of people that those other ones did. And people probably aren't going to go see it, honestly. So I'm aiming 300 million plus because I think it's not going to be low enough for $200 million plus, but $300 million plus does seem right. Okay, Five Nights at Freddy's. What the heck? Why do I keep on doing that? Five Nights at Freddy's 2. So the last film, like a year or two ago, 2 years ago, made over $200 million, like around $300 million, and really, and like, because like the Five Nights at Freddy's community by that point was massive. People have been waiting for this film forever, and it ended up being very profitable for Blumhouse, and it did very well. There's a big like fan base around this franchise, including me. A lot less so since this movie came out. I haven't been really in the fan base of Five Nights at Freddy's after. I'm kind of following up with the movies at this point. But yeah, so honestly, I'm gonna go for the 300 million plus. I don't know if it'll make as much as the last one did, simply because a lot of the people who went to go see that one only went to go see it because they had been waiting so long, and the nostalgia that had been built up to that point of release, that a lot of people just went to go see based off nostalgia and how much they had been waiting for this movie. So I'm going to put it at the $300 million plus range. So yeah. And then How to Train Your Dragon live action remake, which a lot of it looks good, a lot of it just looks okay. I don't know a whole lot about this franchise, but hey, I'd say based off of the popularity, I'm going to put it in the same boat of $300 million plus. That's probably where a lot of these movies are going to end up, because that's just a really nice, cool number where a lot of these movies, you know, they're not going to go over, they're not going to like overperform. They're just going to stay right in that bubble, you know, of $300 million plus, you know, maybe 475, whatever. Okay. The Minecraft movie. Okay, so Minecraft is a huge franchise that has a ton of fans ranging throughout the years. And from like this game, they've been trying to make a movie for it since 2009. And a lot of people have lots of nostalgic ties to this franchise, including me. A lot of people my age, a lot of people like a few years older than me, a few years younger than me, are going to have a lot of nostalgic ties to this movie. Or maybe they're not nostalgic. Maybe they're actively playing the game still, and they're like, they're making a movie based off of the best game ever, or my most favorite game ever, whatever. Oh, well, I gotta see that. And then the movie's gonna make $1 billion easily, simply because of how popular the game is and how many sales it has. I mean, the movie is destined for success, no matter how trash it will end up being. Let's all be honest. Okay, so the Thunderbolts. Do I have a water bottle in here? No. No, I do not. Okay. So, the Thunderbolts. Asterisk. I'm sorry, I am an uncultured fool. I did not add the asterisk at the end. So that means I'm probably going to get swatted. No, I'm just kidding. Please don't do that. Okay, so, now this movie, it's taking a lot of the people from a bunch of more failed MCU projects from the odd phase of the MCU, like post Endgame, where MCU didn't really know what they were doing. Kevin Feige was stretched way too thin over several projects, which kind of taking all those characters from the awkward phase of the MCU, pushing them in a movie, so then pushing forward, you had a connection with these characters. You know who they are, whether you've seen the television series or not. You're catched up with all of them. Say you didn't see Black Widow or you didn't see the television series, then you're still catched up with these characters. You know who all of them are. You have an emotional connection, so that when we go into Doomsday and Secret Wars, you know who all of them are. So that's basically the whole goal of this movie, and it has Bucky returning, which everybody loves Bucky and his iron arm and everything. People really don't have a big connection in the movies with all these other guys because a lot of them weren't even in movies. A lot of them were in TV shows or in kind of like side projects like Ant-Man the Wasp or like Black Widow. Just like different things like that. So honestly, it's probably going to be aiming for about the same ballpark as Captain America 4. But hey. Okay, so the new Karate Kid. I have no connection with this franchise, but through word of mouth, I do know that this has a huge connection with fans. And just that a lot of like OG actors from this franchise I know through behind the scenes, just on Twitter, are coming back to this franchise. But still, adding on to that, I mean, it'll probably still make money through nostalgia and everything, and through the fans that this franchise has, but I don't know a whole lot about this franchise, so I honestly could not tell you, so I'm just going to put it right there. I don't really know anything about this franchise, being completely honest. Okay, so then you have Mortal Kombat. I didn't know they were making a new Mortal Kombat movie, but okay. The last one was good. It was good, you know, a good Mortal Kombat movie. And honestly, Mortal Kombat still has a good amount of fans from like the past when it was an arcade game to the PS2 games, PS3 games, to the game that came out like a year or two ago. It still has a lot of fans that will go watch this movie, probably aiming for that 500 million plus range, maybe 300 million plus. Wait, hold up. I'm just going to do something real quick. I love this website so much. BoxOfficeMojo.com. So the first one made 84 mil. Let's make sure there's no other releases. $84 million. That does make me a little bit nervous, but seeing how there is still a good chunk of fans for this franchise, I'm probably going to put it at 200 million plus at most, but just to be safe, we're going under 200 million, since the last one couldn't even break 100 million, just because there's like not a lot of hype for the movie, still hype for the games though. Hopefully this one will do better. Okay, so now we're going to do the Lilo and Stitch live action remake. I completely forgot this is coming out, like it should be, because live action remakes are destined to be cash grab trash. But still, I mean, the other live action remakes are still making a crap ton of money. So honestly, try the 500 million plus range. maybe people will finally realize that these movies are trash, but there is a huge amount of fans that love Stitch, that have all the merchandise from Stitch still being sold at Disney parks, on the Disney website, all kinds of things still drawing to Stitch specifically. So his character alone will probably drive the film, just being like, Stitch in live action, incredible. You know, we have to jump onto that. So yeah, it's just gonna go right there. Wicked Part 2, and honestly, the first one has made a killing in the box office. It's probably hitting the $750 million plus range. I don't even have to explain that very much. It's just that generally, the first movie has made a ton of money so far at the box office. In fact, we will see right now. First Wicked. $680 million thus far. And it's destined to make more money before it comes out of theaters. So it's probably going to end up making $750 million plus. And then you have the people who are just waiting for it to come on streaming to rent the film. And are going to be like, I really like that. I should go see it again. And then go see it again. And then makes even more money. So honestly, it's probably hitting that $750 million plus range. And good for it. It has big sets, good plot from what I hear, and it's had good word of mouth, so probably $750 million plus. Okay, Megan 2.0, I don't know what it's going to be called, but hey, it's the first one made a good amount of money for Blumhouse, enough that they were going to make a sequel to it. And basically whenever Blumhouse makes enough money off of a film, you know it's gonna, if it like breaks even or more, if it makes a good amount of money, like over what it needed to make, then that's how you know it's gonna get a sequel automatically. Just gonna milk it until there's like nothing left. So honestly, probably $200 million and under. We can go back and see like what the first one made. First one made 180 million. So that supports my claim that the first one made money because of the concept, because of the Chucky related concept, basically a female Chucky, if you think about it, just in the modern age. So it's probably going to end up in that range, just because of the concept and the people that ended up liking the first one going back to see what the second one's could be all about. It's going to get probably under $200 million, but at most $200 million plus. So it's probably in that range. Zootopia 2. Disney loves their sequels, and so do people who go and watch the movies. So it's probably going to end up reaching $500 million plus. A lot of people love the first one, adults and children, for its story and the humor and just some of the references and just different things in the movie. I love this movie. So obviously a second one was imminent. It's probably going to end up pushing $750 million. Bad Guys 2. Pretty sure that's what, yeah, Bad Guys 2. So I really liked the first one. You know, basically like GTA 5 if it had animals in it and it was animated. So honestly, let's just go with this one. It's not going to reach the $1 billion club, but probably $300 million plus. And like, the animation looks a little bit different. There's different things about it. Probably not going to make as much money. Maybe make around the same amount of money. But that is where my headspace is at for this movie, you know. Like, it's probably still going to make a good chunk of money. But I don't think it's going to push up to like 500 or 750. Tron Ares. I am not very familiar with this franchise. I need to, though, for when this movie comes out. But, hey, so, it's probably going to make $500 million plus. But I'm not hugely familiar with this franchise, so we're going to go look at Box Office Mojo. Tron. Okay, so, good amount of money. Looking at the next one. $409 million, a huge jump up in money, because it probably got a cult following after that. So, honestly, it's probably going to push $500 million plus. simply because, I mean, it's a nostalgic franchise, as we saw at the box office numbers. Why is it down like that? As we saw at the box office numbers from going to, like, 48, like, going under 100 million to jumping all the way up to, like, 409 million. That much of a jump up in box office numbers means that it's a nostalgic franchise, and there is very good potential that it will make a lot of money. But who knows, it could be one of those cases where the nostalgic property ends up losing a ton of money. So, yeah. So now, I honestly don't know what this movie's called. I did at one point, but honestly, I'm not hugely familiar with it. So, let's just put it in the $300 million range. And that is my tier list. What did you guys think about it? Go check out Sean Chandler's video on Sean Chandler Talks About predicting the 2025 box office predictions. And yeah, so what do you guys think about my tier list? You can do it as well if you just go to tiermaker.com, box office predictions, tier list maker. And yeah, so if you guys enjoyed this video or any of my other content, please subscribe and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.